Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the MyFootballWriter podcast. It's our fourth instalment of the weekly pod. And as always, myself, I'm Freddie Humphrey-Wakefield. I'm joined by Jack Wright, Henry Miller, and Will Grant. So, lads, of course, very good to see you again after a week of anything going on in our lives. So just as we did last week, and just a general thing you should always do with your mates, let's have a bit of a quick catch-up to start things off. So how have you all been? What's it been like for you in the week? And are you getting a bit too excited maybe, or are you staying a bit reserved about the news we've seen with Norwich City over the last 7 days?
For me, it is same old, really. I'm starting to feel a bit more excited now with fixtures out. Obviously, Oxford away first up. I'm sure we'll touch on it later. But yeah, it's getting my juices flowing, I can't lie to you. So yeah, very excited for that. England, yeah, maybe that's open to interpretation about how good we've been recently. But overall, I'm fine, and I'm just looking forward to the new season.
Yeah, same here, really. I'm still very much in Euro and England mode, but like you said, Will, the fixture's been released. It has sort of got me more excited for the upcoming season. I believe we've announced some more friendlies as well. So yeah, plenty of things to look forward to.
I'm bloody boiling. That's hot, isn't it? That's right hot. Oh,
it might be too hot.
Oh, too hot. Yeah. But
No,
no,
wearing a jumper.
Hey?
Says one wearing a jumper.
No, I'll have you know. Just. Sorry,
Really?
I'm just so tired.
What's that on your arm? What?
Oh no, it's a little badge, mate. You know, it means I'm hard. You know, so if anyone want it outside the Kassam Stadium, 10th of August, no, please don't, because I will probably get my head kicked in. But let's all stay calm for now. I don't want to end up in the Oxford car park. I'm sure.
Are they not our new sponsor then? I thought.
No, they're not the new sponsor. No, that's of course.
For context for the Spotify listeners, Freddie is wearing a Stone Island jumper.
Yeah, see, lovely, nice. It's bloody beautiful, but that ain't as beautiful as the new Blakely clothing that I've been seeing on. God, I'm going so Norfolk. This is ridiculous. But no, of course, Norwich City's new sponsor is Blakely, an online clothing company, which even Jack, you posted on Twitter, many may have seen, that did have a store near Chapel Field or Chantry Place, whatever it's called now, and that got closed down. So I don't know how well that bodes for the business.
I never saw it. Where was that?
God knows, mate. I don't know. But yeah, so no, we got that. The new training wear was released. If anyone buys that these days, I mean, I don't know. I thought it looked quite nice, but I'm more excited for the new kit, so I can not have to worry about that one anymore, because I still have mixed feelings about it, but that'll probably be very soon. Of course, there's so much going on. There's a fan forum at the forum going on. I believe that's next Monday or next Thursday. Sorry, I should really revise and look at the days for these things, but I believe that is at some point next week. But anyway, but I want to allude to, for the YouTube viewers looking at this, because Henry's finally got some stuff in his background. I mean, look at it; it's beautiful. Yeah, I'll happily clap that. A round of applause for the boy. Look at this; it's beautiful.
I've finally pulled my finger out of my arse and decorated. To be fair, it is just a mishmash of everything. So the luxuries of moving out. Me and my girlfriend got a heated era during the week, so we've got this era going spare. So I just thought, why not use this one to decorate the background a bit?
Oh, splendid, mate. Absolutely beautiful. I mean, yeah, we've all got at least something in the background after our whole first week, and we all looked like we was in mental asylums with white backgrounds, but we're all right now. We're all good. But Henry, you were saying there you were talking about Euros mode. You can see your England scarf just behind you as well. So obviously, despite what many would have seen as a disaster of a performance in their last game against Slovenia, and of course upcoming against Slovakia in the round of 16, you obviously still have the faith. And are we going to be seeing, or hearing rather, another 3-minute Southgate rally cry from you this week, or is that a bit more tame now after what was a poor one? And it backed up what we were saying last week, wasn't it, that England are David Wagner's Norwich in disguise?
I'll be honest, I think it's a bit mixed. I think based on that first half performance, that was the worst half of football of the entire tournament, I'd say. I'd say calling it David Wagner ball in disguise is harsh on David Wagner. Actually going forward under Wagner, we weren't too bad, I don't think, in terms of going from 16th to 6th. But it was more like Dean Smith or Chris Hughton ball, to be fair. But the one positive we have is obviously we needed to do a job. We did that job. We won our group and got hopefully quite a straightforward tie in the next round. And the substitutes that Gareth Southgate made did actually seem to impact the game. I'll be honest, when I saw that Conor Gallagher was in the team for Trent Alexander-Arnold, I was really disappointed. I don't think Gallagher offers much to this team, but Mainu coming on at half-time, that, for me, that was essentially Gareth Southgate saying, yeah, maybe I got this one wrong. And he did have an impact on the game. And then players like Cole Palmer came on, who was brilliant. He just ran at the defence and, loved it. And he definitely needs to start against Slovakia. But, so on the whole, it was mixed because I think Southgate got his substitutions right. But that first half was turgid. It was awful. And I think, to be honest, Southgate, the buck does end with him for that first half.
No, it's very hard to disagree, isn't it? Jack and Will, like to hear your thoughts on that as well, because as Henry said there, it's hard to disagree with him. It was pretty turgid, despite some substitutions trying to change the dynamic in the game, take it by the scruff of the neck. It was dull viewing, really, wasn't it? Because that just was not enjoyable.
Yeah, there was so many issues from my perspective, especially the first half. I mean, if it's the left flank, it's the right flank, and it's in central areas. The left flank, there's absolutely no penetration whatsoever. It's all going back inside to the central areas. And I actually felt a last game against, I think it was Slovenia, of course, Bellingham didn't actually have a good game either. I thought a lot of people kind of said that Bellingham was kind of like overworking himself. But for me, actually, I didn't actually think he's even like shown for the ball enough. Like, although England liked playing the front foot, I don't think Jude was actually shown options for the midfielders to actually play through the lines, and that causes so much problems. And when you can't even do that, and you've got a left side which is so kind of staggered and inconsistent, and then you've got to go on your right hand side. When you've got Kyle Walker and his attacking input is literally next to nothing really. So I've got quite a bold team section for next game, and I want to kind of hear your guys' thoughts, but. Like, it's like every game now, I'm just changing my mind on a team. But I think for me, I think I might look at playing Walker at left back for the recovery pace, but then maybe move Trent as a right back, because I think we just need like one area in particular. We need some quality to break down a low block, because it's just so subdued at the minute. Like, we can't get anything flowing. Anthony Gordon, again, I said it last week, I'll say it again. 89th minute it took him last game, absolutely staggering. So yeah. I was very, very annoyed with that first half. But look, I don't know how also you kind of guys see it as well. I'm kind of throwing maybe like loads of things at you here, but maybe I'm kind of in the mindset. Is it actually a bad thing if you played Holland in the next round? Because I feel like we might have had actually like more space to actually operate and more space to play, because at the minute we're playing like three teams who just sit in so deep, and we can't create anything, and it's just so hard to watch at the minute. So maybe if you played like a harder team, we might have more freedom. I don't know. It's up to you guys but yeah, it hasn't been a great start, has it?
I agree with you. I think three teams that have gone into it thinking they're not going to beat England. Serbia especially sat back with a 7-man defence. Slovenia celebrated like they'd won the whole thing by getting a draw against us. Either this is a tactical masterstroke of just getting through the group, not conceding a lot of goals, playing conservative football, saving legs in order to go guns blazing into the next round, or this is a tactical mishap. And the fact that Southgate had to tinker with changing Trent and putting in Gallagher and then hooking Gallagher immediately at half-time against Slovenia really does make me think that there isn't a plan here, or at least there's half a plan. We definitely have luckily got the good half of the tournament by pure luck. I mean, the thought of playing Spain or Germany or France at this moment puts fear in my heart, but also there's fear in my heart of, losing to Slovakia and having Andre Duda score a hat-trick against us. That's a possibility. Am I going mad? Could that happen? It won't happen.
No,
Will it?
no, it won't. No.
What I will say though, people are sort of using this side of the draw scenario as sort of potentially a stick to beat Gareth Southgate with, of he's so lucky. I wouldn't call it luck. I'd say, it's our professionalism and the fact that we had a job to do and we did it. If you look on this side of the draw that we're on, France should have been there. Had they have won their group, which many people would have thought, we'd have potentially had the Dutch in the last 16 maybe, and then if we made it to the semis, had France. So it was never easy. The difference between them and us is they can get the job done. We did. And what will be interesting is, like what Will said, whether teams will open up now and start to play more expansive because there's stakes on the game. Say Slovenia. They knew all they needed was a draw once they heard that Denmark and Serbia were drawing. They sat back. We knew that a draw would probably see us win the group. There was nothing on that. So I think that was always going to be a really poor game. But now the fact that, there is stakes on the game, it could open up and it could be expansive, which could play into England's hands. But if we do make it all the way and go to the final and play a Germany or a Spain, it'll be interesting to see how he sets up, because I think he'll set up the way he has done in the group stages. And whilst that'll be an awful performance, we would be hard to beat, I reckon. We've got the lowest XG for shots faced in the entire tournament. So he's clearly seen, okay, maybe, my attack's strong, but my defence is a little bit weak, and has made us hard to beat, and he's done that.
No, it's all very fair points, isn't it? It's very true. England didn't lose a game in the group and got through. They won the group. That's very much what they were expected to do, albeit they haven't done it the flashy way everyone would have expected, given the quality of players. So you could maybe argue in that sense there's reason to be annoyed and discontent with it. But then really, of course, well, Henry, you've just done there. You've got to be real with it. You have to look at the element of England are through. They've got an easy round of 16 game, which they should win. But of course, there's always doubt in the back of everyone's minds, because that's just how football works. As Jack crosses his fingers, just raise them up, puts them back down slowly. But who knows? Andre Duda could score a hat trick or whatever. Who knows? He could go off injured in the 5th minute with a gammy leg or something, for whatever I know. But he did score in Slovakia's last game, and I know, Henry, you were rather happy in our little WhatsApp group chat about that one. You were bigging up Andre Duda. You were very happy for the boy.
I was, but that was more tongue in cheek, I feel. He was one of the worst players I've ever seen at Norwich, to be honest. Don't know how he's still playing international football. Surely Slovakia must have someone better than that. Like, they've got quite a good team, but yeah, like, he is. I put in our group chat that he's my GOAT, and he's the best Slovakian I've ever seen play for Norwich. But,
I mean, to be fair to him, I actually thought he was actually very, very good against Belgium in the first game. I thought he kept the ball really well, and I actually think maybe he actually probably like better deeper compared to more advanced. So I actually thought he was actually quite good against Belgium, but of course that's the Norwich thing. I think nowadays.
Yeah, no, very true. And well, when we're talking about transfers, that's something straight away we can go into. There's been quite a few links with Norwich City as of late, one of which has been Bobby Clark, a youngster from Liverpool who they signed from Newcastle's academy. It looks as if he could be joining Norwich City on loan. There are also RB Leipzig and RB Salzburg who are interested. I personally feel as if he would go to RB Salzburg in Austria because their current manager was Pep Lijnders, who was Jurgen Klopp's assistant at Liverpool. So that makes a lot of sense, at least for me, in terms of that move, because of course you have a manager there who knows him. Of course, Liverpool had that big injury crisis sort of halfway through last season. Bobby Clark was getting quite a few minutes. So I would assume if anything, he'd want to go to a manager who knows every single talent that he has and will back him and play him. But it could be a move that is of interest for Yannis Thorup. Of course, we know that youngsters very much could be the key this season. And we've touched in previous podcasts about how Norwich's transfer strategy could be going down the loan and free agents market. But what do you all think about that? Is Bobby Clark a player that, if you have seen him play in the few minutes that he did get, it's someone that you think could be integrated into the team, or maybe could be sort of a very good option to have off the bench, a player who's got a lot of raw talent and surely some very good ability if he's playing for Liverpool, for goodness sake. But what do you think about that? Is Bobby Clark a player that you would like to see wear yellow and green, or is that one that maybe we should look to avoid?
I mean, look, I think with Bobby Clark is I actually haven't watched much of him play really, because Norwich barely play Liverpool at 21's level, so I don't get to see him much. But I think it's definitely someone which I think we might need, because obviously there's speculation at a minute around Nunes, Sara, and McLean as well. So all three of them could potentially leave, and I think Norwich definitely need to look at options to kind of like cover that. And I think also one thing which actually had to discuss as well really is, I don't think Norwich have actually got at a minute like an out-and-out attacking midfielder. I guess you can kind of say Barnes maybe, because he played well with like Sargent as like a partnership last season, but realistically we actually haven't got like an actual out-and-out 10. I know you guys might think Nunes, yes, he can play that, but I'm not too sure about that. I think he's so much better deeper. So I think it's definitely a player which has got high pedigree, but as you said, Freddie, I think definitely Lijnders will probably want him at RB Salzburg.
Yeah. No, makes sense. Henry, Jack, anything to add to that at all on whether you think Bobby Clark should come to NR1 or not?
Yeah, I think he certainly fits the remit that they're going for of sort of trying to get the age of the team down. And it can look quite contrasting if we were to sign him, because I completely agree with Will. I don't think we've got an actual number 10 at the club. But if we are going to play Ashley Barnes in that role going forward, which I think we probably will do, when he's out injured, it would be nice then to give minutes to a youngster. And someone like Bobby Clark, who, did get minutes here and there for Liverpool last season, would be perfect. And I think he has had lower league loans before, so he is familiar with the rough and tumble of the EFL, so to speak. So for me, a loan makes complete sense.
I think to be in the same echelon as Salzburg and Leipzig, who are in the Champions League, it just proves we're a massive club, And if he does choose us, over those Red Bull clubs, if we're allowed to call them Red Bull clubs, if we're allowed to mention the sponsorship, then it'll be far more obvious for him to move here. He doesn't have to move abroad. Norfolk's lovely. But yeah, like I said, it's a whole, that position is a hole in the squad that would need filling by someone. I think it's going to be a very long summer of links to similar types of players. So I think, maybe latching on the first one that we hear, I don't know. I'll believe it when he's holding up a scarf or holding a ball under his arm.
You go, mate. Sorry.
No, that's all right, mate. No, don't worry. You know what? You go, mate. You go.
No, sorry. I mean, all I was going to add to that really is I think his father is Lee Clark, and he actually played for Norwich before as well. So that might be kind of like one advantage for this kind of narrative. But yeah, I mean, as you kind of say, really, I think Clark will probably think for himself and kind of see the work that Lijnders did at Liverpool and try and bounce back off that really. But that could be like quite a nice side note, because obviously you always hear Lee Clark kind of speak so fondly about Norwich. So just kind of like a little thing to add there.
We're just a breeding ground for ex-players' sons, aren't we? We've got Jack Ruddy, Angus Dunn.
Yeah. No, no, who knows? Who knows? Well, of course, as Jack said, Norfolk is very lovely. It's a nice place to move and be with your family. You can go explore sea pooling in Yarmouth. You can have some lovely days. You can have some lovely days out. You can go to Banham Zoo if you really want. No, you can go all over, and that can be brilliant. But two other players who were linked with Norwich City, both left backs. Of course, Norwich don't have a senior left back on the books. The only one they really have is Guilherme Montoya, who's currently playing for the academy. There's been two left backs. There's been Vanderlane, or Vanderlan, however you pronounce his name, from Palmeiras in Brazil. Of course, Norwich have been very active in the South American market as of late over the last few seasons. Instantly, Sara and Nunez spring to mind, and that could well be another player that we look to bring in. I know that there's also the partnership with Coritiba in Brazil, so we get maybe a bit more intel potentially from that. I don't really know. And then as well, there was the link today of, I believe his name is Clement Akpa. He plays for Auxerre in the French second division. And that was released today. French journalist Leo Ashy was crediting Norwich City with interest, as well as Coventry City and Augsburg in the Bundesliga. So instantly very good to see, though. Two left backs, both young. I believe that Akpa is 22 years old, so he's still a young player who probably has plenty of ability. Vanderlan, I don't know too much else about, but who knows? He could be an absolute gem if we were to bring him in, but who knows? So what do you think? Well, with those two players being linked, it's very good to see that we're obviously still in the market for a left back. It seems as if the links to Martin Fresser have died down after he left Norgeland on a free contract. It doesn't really seem like that's going to happen, despite the obvious link with Thorup, who could just bring him straight to his new club. But it looks as if we are going down the younger players as well. Once again, that does seem to be quite key from Norwich City's standpoint on transfers so far. They're looking at younger players. But what do you think with that? Two left backs who probably no one who follows Norwich City or associated with them knows. But yeah, they could end up signing for us. And as Jack says, he'll believe it when he sees a scarf over the head or a ball under the arm. But it does seem interesting, doesn't it? Two young fullbacks who could well be on their way.
Yeah, I think it seems very interesting. But what I don't want the club to do, obviously we're linked with these two left backs. I don't want the club to sign one and then just go, yeah, job done, we've got our left back in. Losing two left backs, especially the quality of Yanulis and McCallum, we definitely need to replace both of them rather than just the one. You look at like Montoya. Is he ready for a long season of Championship football? If anything happened to the left back we get in, I'm not sure. So yeah, probably you do need to look at two. And I probably am a bit concerned based on what Thorup said in his presser. He obviously prioritised the squad we have at the minute and says the squad is more than good enough. And to be honest, to a certain extent, he's right. The sort of main core of the squad is good enough. But in positions where we don't have depth, we need as much strength as possible.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. Well, Will, of course, being the academy man, probably more about Montoya than a lot of people. So what do you think on those claims? Do you think he's ready, or does he still need maybe a loan away or to hone his craft in the under-23s league?
I mean, look, I think what Henry says, I do think we need a first left back. I do probably think that Montoya probably could do a job as a backup left back, because I think we're going into a season where we're not expecting as much as we were last season to an extent. So I think that could be a very, very good option to try and integrate him through to the first team. He's very good attacking left back as well. He got 6 assists last season for the under-21s as well. So there's some quality there. My main worry is with him is his defensive work. I think he struggles against quite fast-paced wingers who are quite direct. And I think at Championship level, you can get quite a lot of them, albeit some of them nowadays actually prefer to invert in field and try and score from that manner. But I think he could definitely be good enough if he's given the right opportunities to thrive in a really good system. But what I think you said earlier about Freddie, about Fresser, I'm not in the camp where I think it's all over just yet, because I think he's just come back from his holidays and stuff like that. So I'm still hoping that Thorup can actually try and present the project actually to him, if that makes sense, and hopefully we can get him through the team, because I think as you look at like all these like regimes, especially the Farke one, I think Farke brought in Zimbo, and that was kind of like his man to like really like kind of like kickstart the ignition and really try and get the project starting. And I feel like that could be similar to Martin Fresse as well. Obviously, it's going to be hard because he's a man in demand. But yeah, I mean, go back to Montoya. I think he can be ready, but I would definitely want to try and get a first team left back actually like bought or in place. So he can be first choice and Montoya be second choice, because I think there's clear potential in there, and he's definitely rated internally by the club. I actually think during the January time before he got injured, he was actually very close to being like in and around the first team on a more consistent basis as well. So look, they've rated him internally. Would I be shocked if they only signed one left back? No, I wouldn't, because I think they might stick with Montoya, and I think Farke might want to use him as well to try and really kickstart this project. I was trying to get young players into the first team, but yeah, I'm still hoping that Martin Fresse kind of comes along, because I think it could be a really important one for us.
Yeah, I mean, thinking about the fullbacks and in terms of cover, last season we, in terms of right back, had Jack Stacey and then Kellen Fisher as backup, who was essentially an academy right back. So yeah, I mean, to echo what you said, Will, I think only signing one left back is a possibility. Obviously, the elephant in the room is how much money do we have to spend on two left backs? I think in an ideal world, I would probably want one Championship/English football experienced left back and then one slightly more junior one. But then again, that's a magical fantasy land where we probably have more money than what we do have. I think the idea of having lots of attacking left backs, obviously left back is a very prosperous attacking position, but over the years of having very, very attacking left backs through the likes of Jamal Lewis, Martin Olsen, I don't know, I just want a defensive left back. Is that mad? I think it's just a position that is very divisive. I think Dimmy, whilst he was here, was always critiqued over his defensive work. Sam McCallum, especially over his defensive work. But if you were a stat nerd and looked into the stats in terms of interceptions and things like that, he actually did okay. But yeah, a more defensive left back, probably my preference, really.
Yeah, no, it's perfectly fair. No, of course, that's what anyone may want. Of course, that, as you said there, wing backs are very divisive. Of course, in the modern day, you don't expect really a fullback to be as defensive, of course, because they're all pretty much told to just bomb it down the wing, cross it into the box. They have to be so fit in order to get up and down the pitch pretty much the entire game. It's a very physically demanding position, and as I just said there, of course, in modern football, it seems rare that there's a defensive fullback, because really not many managers seem to want their fullbacks to be defensive. But of course, for peace of mind, you want someone who you know is at the very least capable. You know, they're not going to get skinned every single week, and they're not going to be just staying up the pitch like Sam McCallum would do, really. You know, it sounds harsh on him, but there was a lot of times where Sam McCallum would bomb up the pitch, and then he would just sort of stay there in their half while some pacey wingers just come down the line and when we're in trouble. But who knows? It could be
say as well, to bounce off a few points. I think by the time we start pre-season, I don't think we'll have that left back lined up. But in a way, that could be a good thing, and it'll be interesting to see who Torup plays at left back and who would suit Cordoba, because obviously he's the left-footed centre back. So how he links up with a potential left back would be crucial. So based on his play style, if you've got someone like a Kellen Fisher playing there, or someone like Montoya, and it's not clicking, then yeah, look to recruit and look specifically for someone who could suit Cordoba's play style and who could work to the best of that ability. Because if the left flank and the right flank are on the same wavelength, then that will give us the foundations for a really solid defence going forward.
Yeah, no, it could well do it. Of course, there's even the point of, well, we may not even need to sign a left back, because someone who's just sprung into my mind, Jakob Sorensen, has played quite a few games at left back. Of course, there was the spell in the second title-winning season where he came into the team as a left back and played quite well there in quite a few games. So that could be potentially, of course, he's Danish. We've got a Danish manager. It's all coming together. But who knows? He could be, he could be the player that Torup uses. As you said there, Henry, I think that's a brilliant point to bring up, actually, about who could actually suit the play style of Jose Cordoba. Of course, his teammates won't know really all that much about him unless they're staying up till 2 a.m. to watch him play in Copa America, where he did actually have quite a good game in a massive win for Panama against the United States of America, where Sargent only played for 6 minutes. So we didn't really see those two have a clash, which is good as long as neither one of them injured each other and they're not going to become a scapegoat for that. So that's all well and good. Very happy that they're both all right. But I think, again, brilliant point to bring up. And Jack, would love to hear your thoughts on that. Could that be something big in terms of Cordoba being that left-sided centre-half, naturally left-footed? So what do you think about that? Could that be maybe what we should look to use more in the search of a left-back? Or is it just going to be we're solely looking at them and their game in the position rather than how they maybe integrate with the rest of the back line?
And you go, Jack.
Well, I think, again, I'm going to use the same point. Can we afford to be picky? Can we afford to be looking at lots of analyses of different playing styles and different attacking styles? Or do we just need to go to the bargain bin and pick up whatever we can? I would like some transparency as to what our transfer budget will be. I don't know if that's going to be brought up in the fan forum at all. But the idea of us starting pre-season without a first team left back, it scares me, because that's surely the most obvious position on the pitch that does need to, the most obvious hole that needs to be plugged. Maybe that's just me panicking, but if I was Ben Napper, that would be number 1 on my list. Number 2 would be to check that the veg patch has been watered, obviously. Been a very hot time. Not sure how diligent Stuart was, but very important, obviously.
Oh dear.
Yeah, for me, I kind of got 2 points for it, and I think one of them actually comes back down to expectations. So, like, bounce off Henry's point, and about kind of like the partnership it could be between Montoya and Cordoba. I think that is the reality of it. Like, this could be a situation because Norwich don't have as much money now as what we did before. So this is why maybe I'm more of the kind of mindset that like mid-table is probably going to be more likely compared to top 6. So on. I know it's such like a small kind of aspect to like a wider argument, if that makes sense. But it just goes back to my point, like, Norwich need to sell a player because they ain't got recognised Cam, they ain't got recognised left back. Like, although I kind of get why people say, yes, it's still so early, but I don't know if you guys can remember, obviously with Subwendia, I think, like really early summer last year, but I actually think this year, it's so much more important because we actually need to sign actual, like, players, which like, we don't actually have at the minute as well. So I think it's so important, and we need to sell a player fast. And I think this is why it could get a bit scary, because we want to sell Sargent, or like, no, well, we don't want to kind of sell them, but like I think we're kind of okay with the fact, or kind of like, yeah, okay with the fact that it could be Sargent, Rowe, Sara, essentially that could be going in a window. But all of a sudden now, in this last week, I'm kind of thinking it could be maybe Kenny McLean or Nunes that might go. And all of a sudden, like, that kind of like worries me even more, because they are 2 players who are so important to how I think we're going to play next year, especially Nunes. So, look, yeah, I'm worried, especially about when we can actually buy a player. Yeah, like buy a player when we can actually sell them. But yeah, it's going to be a very interesting few weeks ahead, and I think expectations could well decrease because of that.
Kenny McLean to be sold? That's a ludicrous idea.
Mate, there's been rumours, so hasn't there? That's the thing. So, like, maybe you could be right about in the mark. You know what I mean? So, I didn't think it. It's scaring me, mate. It honestly is. I think he's that important to us, especially when like we're going to have such like a young team next year as well. Like, we need those kind of core experienced players there. You know what I mean? So, we'll soon see. But I'm a bit worried right now. I think stuff is going a bit too slowly for my liking at the minute.
Everyone is for sale, apart from Shane Duffy. He will stay.
Yeah, it's because he's locked up in Norfolk Constabulary for a couple of weeks after that.
Allegedly.
No, yeah, well, of course, Will touched there on the sales of players. There has been the big one so far. Gabriel Sara has been credited with with Roma being interested in him, a team that are going to be playing Europa League football next season, a team that Norwich City have made clear they want nothing less than 20 million euros, which comes to 17 million pounds after you do all the currency exchange and every bit of nonsense like that. But what do you think in terms of that as a transfer fee? Because, of course, he was brought in for, it was around 8-9 million pounds. So Norwich would be making quite a healthy profit, which, of course, they need to do in order to fund good players at this level and just keep afloat financially, maybe. But do you think it might be a bit too small for your liking? Do you think maybe we can just squeeze a little bit more out of Roma? Or really, should we just be looking to get that and be happy with it? Of course, us being all fans, of course, there may be an element of bias because we truly know how good he is. And well, that was obvious just by his statistics last season for anyone who didn't watch him. But do you think 17 million pounds is a fair price point, or should we look to up that just that tiny bit more to help us out?
It all really depends whether we're in a position to haggle or not. I think everyone would say, okay, like 20 million, and you can have him. But if we're in a position where we literally can't sign anybody until we sell a huge asset, then beggars can't really be choosers in that situation. And I think 17 million pounds, although some of us might want more, I think it's a fair offer. You know, that's still a hell of a profit we've made on Gabriel Sara. So, you know, ideally, I wouldn't want to see him go. But if the club did sell him for a figure within that ballpark, I wouldn't be too mad with that. I think that'd be all right. But by the sounds of it, he loved the Norfolk omelettes anyway. So I think that'll be a big factor in him staying.
Yeah, no, you can't get omelettes in Italy, I believe. I think. No, don't quote me on that.
Don't ask me, mate.
Yeah, no, but yeah. So, well, Will and Jack, what do you think about that after what Henry's just said there? Are Norwich, as he said, are they in the position to haggle that, or is it you've got to take what you can get now and run?
Yeah, I mean, I think, as I said actually just a few minutes ago as well, I think Norwich actually need to sell somebody quite quick to actually try and embed like our own signers into the building as well. So, look, I think Gabi Sara in an ideal world for me is probably 25 million pounds. I think that's quite a fair valuation, and maybe I kind of think as well. Sargent's probably between 15 and 20, and Rowe's probably the same as well. So ideally, if it was me, as I said on the first podcast, I think Sargent is one player who I think I'd be more happy about selling, because I feel like his injury record is quite scaring me at a minute, and I don't know how much he'll kind of play throughout the season as well. But if Norwich need to sell Sara, and unfortunately it might look like it as well, then I think we're going to have to, because we need to sign some players to actually start the season really well. So, look, I don't want to lose Gabi, but I think although those omelettes are really good and tempting, I just think a club in Italy that plays Europa League football is more of a temptation for him.
But what has Rome got that Norwich doesn't? They've got the Colosseum. Have you been to the Forum? Like, talk about the 7 hills of Rome. Ever been up Mousehold Heath? Exactly. I
can guarantee you, Rome doesn't have a puppet man.
Exactly. But yeah, no, it's inevitable that we're going to sell him. We're going to sell him to someone. 17 million pounds is disgusting. If James Maddison is worth 25 to 26 million, if Emi Buendia is worth 30 to 35 million, and the market is only getting more bananas, by that logic, Gabi Sara is worth 50 million pounds, and I will accept nothing less. Thank you very much.
Okay, all right. No, that's fair enough. No, I think it's whatever you think is fair. You know, obviously it's not up to us. We can't make that decision, unfortunately. Yeah, exactly. I'm very upset about it too, Jack. I'm not happy with it at all. But that's just how it goes. But anyway, in terms of, well, it's not really an incoming as say, but one player who has been another one who has come up into the first team is Errol Mundell-Smith. Now, that's a name that you would have seen in Will's video he did a couple of weeks back about academy players to watch. Someone who, which I even said, I believe it was the podcast before last, about I'd actually like to see maybe be integrated into the first team. That could well happen. He has signed a professional contract. And Will, of course, you're the academy man here. You know how good he is after his trial from Croydon, but you must be delighted to see news like that because he's a player who looks like he's got really good potential at this football club.
Yes, mate. He's had an absolutely superb season. And I think from March onwards, he was just absolutely brilliant under 18s defences. He was having so much joy playing at a really good level as well. And he's so good at like in and around the box as well, so composed, and he can score an array of goals as well on both feet as well. And I think when you kind of associate a tall striker, you don't kind of associate them as being like quite quick or quite agile, but Errol actually has that in abundance, really. He can do quite a lot of things for a target man striker. And I think what I will say is as well is that the under 18s do play like so conservatively as well. So the fact that you're producing 16 goals in a season is so impressive, especially for both age groups as well. I mean, everyone is absolutely like waxing lyrical about Ken Boa, but Errol Mundell-Smith has actually scored more goals than him this season as well. So there's like another argument to that as well. So Errol has got a really big future, but I think for Errol specifically I think he needs another year with the 21s because I feel like although he's scored so much goals, I just think the performances need to be a bit better to kind of like really kind of flourish in the professional game. But look, he's a very, very good prospect, and whoever actually picked him up from Croydon is an absolute genius. I mean, that is such a great find. So well done to whoever you are. I'll get you a pint at Roxham Broad someday, and let's have a good one.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Well, from one specialist in an area to another, and Henry, I know that MFW readers will know you from your women's team reviews. They've got a brand new manager. They have appointed Andy Cook. Believe it was am I right in saying that was the former Newcastle United's women's manager?
Yes. So he was manager at Newcastle last season. Actually got them promoted to the Women's Championship. So highly successful season. He also reached the Women's National League Cup final as well. So this is someone with a load of experience, probably too experienced for this level. So I think it's a real coup that we've got someone like this. And he spent years managing at the Women's National League level with Nottingham Forest as well. So again, it just makes sense.
No, fantastic. And as well, of course, what do you think that will do for the women's team? Of course, had a fantastic season, and only, I think, did they end up on? I'm pretty sure they didn't end up unbeaten, did they? Didn't they lose on the final day?
Yeah, so they lost on the final day of the season to Ashford Town, I believe, and that was their only defeat in the league. So it was heartbreaking. But the way the Women's National League works, especially the sort of sub-branch that we're in, is one team gets promoted and then there's no playoffs. So unfortunately for us, we finished second and AFC Wimbledon won the league. They got, they got more defeats than us. They got 2 or 3 losses, but obviously our draws, they turned into victories. So, huge congratulations to AFC Wimbledon. But with us, it's just all about going again. We need a new captain as well. Anna Larkin, she's leaving the club. She spent her whole career there. So, we need a new captain as well as the new manager. So we've got the manager. We just need to get that captain in now as well, whether that's internal or external.
Yeah, no, it's a very exciting time ahead. It seems for the women's team. A new coach, of course, just had that fantastic season. As you've just said, is there anything else maybe you would say that the women's side need to do in order to make sure that promotion is confirmed, or is it just by having the new manager and the ability that's already evidently there to help get them right up to the table? Do you think that they'll be all right, or maybe do they need some incomings, much like the men's team do, or do you think they'll be okay with the core squad they've got right now?
I think they'll be okay with the core squad they've got. I think some of the players who Cook will have at his disposal are absolutely insane. So you've got Natasha Snelling, Rachel Lawrence, Ellie Smith, players like this who just basically score every single game. and if they don't score, they're contributing. So we have players who are clearly the best in this division, clearly the best at step 4 level as well. You look at our goalkeeper, Sarah Quantrill. She used to play for Arsenal in the Women's Super League. So we've definitely got pedigree in the squad as well. So I think we'll be fine. But to be honest, the main area that I think we need to either keep the same or improve is just the games at Carrow Road. We had 3 games at Carrow Road this year. We had the County Cup final and then 2 league games. I think the first one was against Cambridge City. I might be wrong with that. I can't remember. But the second one was in April against QPR. And the amount of fans that drew to the women's team and the women's game here in Norfolk was brilliant. So we need to keep on doing that. I mean, a certain Mr. Webber wasn't keen on the women's team. He made that abundantly clear. But it seems that Ben Napper, that has been one of his priorities as well, to work with Flo Allen, our general manager, on a regular basis, and to help appoint the managers, but also to oversee the women's team and properly integrate them into the Norwich City family. Because, I think this is my ignorance here, but I support Norwich, and that can't just be the first team. That needs to be, Norwich City at every level. You mentioned someone like Errol Mundell-Smith. No idea who that guy is, right? And again, that's my ignorance here, because, I follow the first team. That's why MyFootballWriter is a brilliant place for people to not only get their fix of Norwich content, whether that's through things like this in terms of podcasts or in print media, but it's also great for Norwich fans to discover new sides to the club, like the women's team. I didn't follow the club, the women's side, before this season, before I started writing about them, and to be honest, I'm so pleased that I found out more about them, because they're such a good side. I'm sure you're the same, Will. Your passion project is the youth team, and again, more people need to maybe educate themselves on the players and really delve into these sorts of things, because you'll unearth so many gems by doing that.
No, fantastic. Gary, if you're watching, I didn't pay him to say that. That's his genuine thoughts. But yeah, so get on our website, educate yourself, as Henry says. We cover pretty much absolutely anything on the website, even here on the YouTube channel. Of course, we're going to leave all the links in the description below for this video. But just one last little thing to talk on before we delve into a little bit of nonsense, which we all love doing every week. Andy Hughes, part of the backroom staff at Norwich City, has left. He has gone to join the backroom staff at Leicester City after their promotion and the appointment of Steve Cooper. I just want to hear all your thoughts on that, in terms of, of course, Norwich have got a new assistant manager in with Johannes Thorup. They've got in Glenn Riddersholm, who won the Danish league with FC Midtjylland back in 2015. But do you think that could be maybe detrimental after how much really he was involved last season? I think he was even the loans manager as well for Norwich City last season, unless I'm getting that name confused. But do you think that really could be a source of worry for Norwich, maybe internally in the backroom staff? Or is that just something we should just look at and think, oh, that's interesting, right, I'm not going to look at that anymore? But what's your thoughts on that? Because that could be something which ends up being big, but it may not. It could just be a small little thing that's part of the bigger picture, with Thorup coming in and bringing in his own staff.
As long as Marcelino Nunez is still great at free kicks, I think we'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I kind of see it more as a positive. Look, I think Hughes did a really good job for the club in all areas, but I think when you kind of want to start a new revolution, if you will, I think getting in as much kind of staff who are associated with Frop is only a good thing. And I think when you kind of have all those people together, I think it brings challenge, and I think it kind of brings unity as well. And I'm quite, although Hughes, I mean, some of those set piece routines were questionable, or they are fantastic. I mean, you look at the Leicester one away, you look at the Millwall one away. He had some great moments, right? But yes, but I must still say, Hughes, I'm still furious about those. I think it was away Wednesday away this year, and we conceded like 2 corners back to back in like 5 minutes. I was like, oh, but no, yeah. Good luck to him. But I think, yeah, I'm quite excited to really to see if Johannes actually brings someone of his own kind of like background, or maybe we might like introduce someone internally as well. So I'm really, really excited for that. And I think it's only really a good thing, really, just to kind of keep this thing fresh. I mean, we've already got the likes of Clements and Pellick also in the building as well. So I think we've got quite a nice balance of kind of new people as well as like existing staff as well. So I'm not too sad about it, but I wish you all the best.
I'm all half. We don't need Hughes. I'm all half. Going to Leicester, who probably my bookie's favourite to finish bottom, apart from maybe that other team that are in blue that have come up, which we don't mention, because if we mention their name, we get a yellow card. Yeah, exactly. They're definitely going to get a points deduction on Leicester, right? And finish on minus 10 points? Probably, maybe. If that is the case, then that's a very poisoned chalice. But again, good luck to him. Again, all those wonderful set-piece goals that maybe he was responsible for, maybe Alan Russell was responsible for. We'll never know.
At the Russell, man.
Oh dear, and his beautiful carved body from God when he was, was that Beyonce or Rihanna he was on stage with? God, that was woof. But anyway, let's move on now. We're delving into nonsense. We're going to get even further into it. You already know what's coming up next. This is arguably the highlight of every single week. Jack has got his arm in the air. He's going absolutely bizarre with it. It's like he's Jurgen Klopp at full time to the Kop end, how much he's moving it. He's going mental. But anyway, he might be going even a bit more mental with some of the answers we've got for his quick fire questions. You already know how this goes. He's got some questions lined up. Controversial, maybe a bit funny, or maybe actually smart. Who knows? But myself, Henry, we're all going to answer them, and we're all going to get clipped up on Twitter and YouTube Shorts for you to laugh at us even more. So, Jack, I'll go straight to you, mate. Take it away. How many have you got this time? Is it 10 again for us, or have you gone a little bit further down and you're looking for more content this week?
No, I think it's just 10. I think it's just 10. I've got to save the good stuff. You know, it's going to dry out soon. I've got to, save some goodies. But you know the drill. You know the order. And quick fire, and no talking nonsense. I want quick fire, boom. None of this, oh, I can't answer the question. Oh, that's a nasty question. Oh, where's Houlihan? Oh. Anyway, question number 1. Which underrated Norwich baller deserves a place in the Hall of Fame?
Ooh. Michael Turner.
Andrew Sermon.
Oh.
Mario Vrancic, just pure vibes.
I don't think he's underrated, though. I think he's just about the right level of rating.
Yeah, but he's not really in the Hall of Fame bracket, so that's how I was kind of coming across with this question. Give me it.
Okay. Prime Snodgrass or Prime Redmond?
Wow. Prime Redmond.
Prime Redmond.
Nah, Prime Snodgrass.
Who is the one Norwich player that the streets won't forget?
I'm basing it off his whole career, not just Norwich. Yusuf Malumbu.
I think it's that Rick Van Winkle.
Jacob Butterfield.
Oh my, what a shout! Oh my God, that's Jacob Butterfield.
I completely forgot he existed.
Oh wow, what a shout that
What a
is.
hero.
Love that. Best away scran?
Hull City.
Aston Villa.
I'll give you a list of the worst, but I'll just go for a lucky dip because I have no clue. I think they're all quite crap. Let's go for Millwall.
Yeah, fair.
2014-15 playoff final victory or winning the league again in 2020-21?
Winning the league again.
Easy. Playoff final victory. 21 was behind closed doors.
Interesting. If you had a magic wand and could change anything about Carrow Road, what would it be?
The city stand to be the same height as all of the others, so it's perfectly square.
Put another stand on the city stand.
Okay, for that, for Barclay watchers or listeners who are watching, I want a scoreboard, yeah, right in. So you know, like kind of like pitch side, you got like all the advertising boards. I want like a scoring system and like a minute kind of system on those advertising boards, so I can actually see what time it is.
Just get a watch, mate. Just get a watch.
Also,
No, mate.
I need to
No, I want to
change
see
mine.
some more. I
Actually,
want to see some visual stuff, mate.
I need to change mine. If I could change one thing about Carrow Road, it'd be the food in the river end. Fucking disgraceful.
Sorry for the bad language. Sorry.
Sorry for the bad language, but I am passionate about this. The
Emma, what's
sausage
the
rolls are
selection?
too crummy, right? And they burn your tongue. And the pies are the same all week. We want more variety. We want burgers. We want chips. We want pizzas. Whereas instead, no, we just get shitty sausage rolls.
Sorry.
Emphasis on the word quickfire. Coleman's or Kettle Crisps?
Kettle crisps.
Kettle crisps.
I like Masters of Commons.
It's Coleman's all the way. Worst individual performance by any Norwich player you've seen live?
Marley Watkins against anyone.
Whittaker versus Brentford.
Oh, yeah.
It's got to be Bayern midfield against Villa.
Yeah.
Who is the one lone player you fell in love with?
Ollie Skip.
Ollie Skip.
Oliver Skip.
Me too.
Quickfire.
And finally, have you ever left early and regretted it? If so, when?
No, I've never left early, regardless of the scoreline.
I have. It was an FA Cup game, but it was Lowestoft Town, and they scored after I left.
I mean, I've left early, but like it's more to catch the traffic, so it ain't too bad. Don't worry, it's not a regular thing. It's just when Norwich aren't playing very well, it has to be done.
William, you never leave early. I went to Swansea away in 2014. We were 3-0 down. Jonathan de Guzman scored. I stayed right to that final whistle.
Jack,
Never leave early.
Jack, quickfire.
All right, that's quick fire questions over. Bye.
Well, I'm just saying, well, if we were going to bring up games that were really bad and didn't leave early, when we lost 5-1 to Villa, I didn't leave. I stayed and watched Josip Drmic put the ball in an empty net, and I loved every second of it.
But why did they play Samba after that? That was
We scored. That's why.
Yeah.
Good vibes. That's why.
Yeah.
You needed someone there with a saxophone like they're doing in Germany.
No, I'd love that. I think that'd be absolutely superb if we had that before a game at Carrow Road. Well,
Hashtag Santa sax.
Yeah, we've got the Barclay drummer. We now need like the Snake Pit sax.
get it trending, people. Snake Pit sax. We'll have some of that at Carrow Road. Well, anyway, there is all of your nonsense and even some smart talk for pretty much the majority of that. I'm quite surprised. We're starting to get a bit more formal with this now. We actually seem to be talking a bit of sense for once in our lives. But of course, we don't know what's going to happen in the next week, and we're going to be here this time next week to bring it all to you. Pre-season will actually only be a week away once we look forward to that. So maybe we can talk about Stevenage. And then, no, not the Carabao Cup one. No, the other one, the other Stevenage game that will be probably just as enjoyable as the Carabao Cup one. But anyway, that has been all of your content for this week's podcast. Of course, let us know any of your thoughts on the topics we discussed in the comments below, or on any of our social media pages, or on the article that we posted for this video on the MyFootballWriter website. We'll leave all the links in the description. I have been Freddie Humphrey Wakefield. They have been Jack Wright, Henry Miller, and Will Grant. There you go. Kiss the badge. And I'll kiss my badge as well. Mwah. That's absolutely, yeah, that's absolutely lovely. But anyway, thank you all for watching or listening, and we'll see you this time next week. It's goodbye for now. We'll see you in the next video of ours here on My Football Writer.